Billy's Mother, Chapter 20. Billy slumped at the kitchen table on one elbow, pawing in his bowl of Wheaties with his spoon. His mother was washing the breakfast dishes at the sink. But why isn't it a good idea to eat hot dogs for breakfast? I know nobody does, but why don't they? Oh, Billy, said his mother, stop it. Just finish your cereal. Well, but... A knock on the screen door. Billy's mother glanced around. Oh, hello, Alan Joe. Is your sister here? Or is she better? Well, yes, thank you. Billy can't come out until he's finished with his breakfast. Would you like to wait for him on the front porch? We came to see you, Mrs. Forrester. Oh, well, come in. Mrs. Forrester, said Joe, as Alan shut the door carefully behind them. I don't know if you know this already, but see, about a week ago, well, Alan made this bet with Billy about eating worms. If Billy could eat 15 worms each day for 15 days, then... Billy, you're not still eating them, are you? Billy stuffed a spoonful of Wheaties into his mouth. Not just worms, Mom. I've been eating lots of other stuff too. Look at me, I'm healthy. Dr. McGrath already told you that worms wouldn't hurt me. Joe nudged Alan and grinned. Oh, Mom, I'm 5 worms. If 5 worms wouldn't have hurt me, a few more won't either. They're little worms, I promise. Besides, it's a bet. They're big worms, Mrs. Forrester, said Joe, looking very sneaky. We wouldn't lie to you. My mother told me never to tell a lie. Manure, said Billy. Mom, it's a bet. I told you, if I win, Alan's got to pay me $50. $50? Young man, don't you move from that chair. She went off into the front hall. Thanks, whispered Billy, but you'll see it won't work. Alan and Joe gazed nonchalantly at the ceiling. Billy's mother's voice came in from the front hall. Dr. McGrath, I'm awfully sorry to bother you again. It's such a ridiculous matter. But since I spoke to you, Billy has continued to eat worms. Pause. No, it's nothing like that. He's acting perfectly normal otherwise. It just seems that he made a bet with some other boys. Pause. One day he has, let me tell you, on every day, he has to eat 15 worms in total to win this bet. Pause. Oh, thank you, Dr. McGrath. I'm so sorry to bother. She returned to the kitchen. But no more bets after this one. Okay, Alan, Joe, don't you egg him on anymore. He's far too eager to do wild things. Billy yooked silently at Joe and Alan. Alan made a rude gesture at him. Mrs. Forrester, said Joe, what we really came to talk about is that Alan and me are going up to Lake Lauderdale today with my father to fish, and we wouldn't be back until tomorrow night, so we wondered if you would make sure that Billy eats the worms today and tomorrow. It's not that we don't trust Billy, Mrs. Forrester. No, said Billy's mother, smiling, but it's always better if there's, a referee, like Mrs. Simpson says at our school, to save arguments and hard feelings. We just want that to happen. We brought the 2 worms. He held up a paper bag, and we boiled them already, so you can just keep them right in the refrigerator. Well, said Billy's mother, that is quite a responsibility you have given me. Are you sure I'll be neutral enough? I am his mother. Yeah, we thought of that, said Joe, but we figured, well, you're usually pretty fair, and besides, parents almost never cheat kids. It's just something that goes between adults and kids, They're usually pretty fair. Until the kids get involved. Billy's mother laughed. And how does he eat them? Just cold and boiled? Well, we've been frying them, Mrs. Forrester. We roll them in cornmeal and we fry them like a fish. But he can do whatever he wants. Except that Alan and me have decided it's not fair to make soup out of them or chop them into little tiny hash pieces or chicken salad. You can't put them in a sandwich. He has to eat them piece by piece. Who said? Yelled Billy. When was that ever the rules? We said, shouted Alan. Billy jumped up. kicking his chair over. Well, then I win, because it's cheating to make up new rules in the middle. Oh yeah, shouted Alan. Then you lose, because anybody knows it'd be cheating to hash it up. You think you're going to weasel out of it after I've already eaten mine? Who's weaseling? You're cheating. Yeah? Yeah. Boys, 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 come on. Silence. Please, now, Billy, No, let me speak first. I do think Alan and Joe are right. It wouldn't be fair to cut up all the worms. You can just think of some other way of fixing it. Thank you, Joe. She took the paper bag and looked inside. Whew, Billy, are you? Mom, I've eaten eels. I've eaten eels last summer in Long Island. They're just smaller versions of that. They're the same thing. Well, she put the paper bag into the refrigerator. I guess if Dr. McGrath says it's all right. Now, why don't you all go inside? I wouldn't go across the street with those finks, said Billy. They can... Yeah, shouted Alan. Well, who'd want to go anywhere with you either? Yeah, shouted Billy. Boys, cried Mrs. Forrester. Stop it, all right? Alan and Joe, you better go. The screen door banged behind them. Phew, said Billy scornfully. Joe's face appeared at the screen. Thanks for saying you'll help us out, Mrs. Forrester.